Welcome to USA Wrestling. And now, here's your announcer, Charlie Platt.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome once again to USA Wrestling. And we've got a great lineup of professional wrestling here on television today. Super Kick Scott Armstrong has joined us at the desk. And, folks, Scotty, we got a great lineup. The Bullet returns to action today, along with Mr. Tennessee, Junkyard Dog, Boris Zukov, Simply Divine, and you'll be in action, too.
That's exactly right. You know, last week I had a match on here with a man called the Master Blaster. And I understand that all week long he's been calling the offices saying that, you know, I don't know, he got a quick count or I pulled his tights or some rigmarole. But I don't want to piddle any of that. What I want to do is I told him I'll sign a contract. I'll wrestle him again. I'll wrestle him 10 times in a row if that's what it takes. I'm not going to back down from nobody, and I think everybody here, right here in this TV studio, going to be behind me 100%, and I'm looking forward to it.
Very good. We're down to 8 in the Junior Heavyweight Championship hunt in the tournament, and we'll bring you up to date on more action on that a little bit later on today's program. Get your pen and pencil and paper handy, because we want to let you know how you can have USA as a fundraiser in your area. We'll bring that information to you a little later on. Right now, let's get into today's action. Here's Mike Jackson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this special television match, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the ring to the corner to my right, weighing in at 224 pounds, Phoenix, Arizona, would you welcome Mike Mitchell? And ladies and gentlemen, the music tells the story. Weighing in at 232 pounds, Marietta, Georgia.
Well, what an ovation for the Bullet on this, our first match today on USA Studio Wrestling. We've got an interesting personality profile that's coming with Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol. Right now, we're ready for action to get underway as the Bullet takes on Mike Mitchell on this edition of USA Wrestling. Bell sounds, we're ready for action. Collar and elbow tie-up, center of the ring, good side headlock by the Bullet as he moves back around into that hammerlock on Mitchell, and Mitchell uses those ring ropes to get out of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you know, we saw Mike Mitchell here last week on USA Wrestling, and he had a real formidable showing against Austin Idol. This week, as you can tell, though, the Bullet is back, and he's in black, and he is ready to rock and roll and strut his stuff, as you can tell.
And it's Mitchell going to the left arm. Good reversal by the Bullet. And he ties up the left arm of Mike Mitchell once again. Hey, it's the ring ropes to get me out of it.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, at least the guy's thinking. He realizes that a man that's twice his size with arms about as big as his waist could snap his arm at the matter of a second, so he decided he'd go to those ropes and break clean of that.
Side headlock by Mitchell on the Bullet. He clamps down with the pressure. Bullet now takes his man into those ring ropes, counters off. Good shoulder smash by Mike Mitchell up and over his man. Now it's a Bullet flying high, miss, nobody home. Whoa!
Big chop, big chop. Oh, Mitchell back on the horse now, buddy. He's backing away. Bullet looks like he's ready to crank one up.
As we mentioned earlier in the program, just in the opening, that you will be taking on the Master Blaster in a return match. Also, to see action today will be the Junkyard Dog, Mr. Tennessee, the Russian warhead, Boris Zukov. Plus, we'll also see that dynamic tag team, Simply Divine, in action.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about those boys. You know, they're a different kind of tag team, but nevertheless, they know each other like the back of their hand, and they are a good tag team. As you can see right now, Mike Mitchell seems to be taking it to the Bullet. He's getting a little bit cocky, though. I don't know. Oh, Lord.
Here's that chop by the Bullet. Another chop to the chest area, and another by the Bullet. Good reversal by Mitchell. Takes the Bullet into the ring ropes. Whoa.
Got his small package. 1, 2, 3. He got it.
It's over. And your winner of the match from Marietta, Georgia, the legendary Bullet. Whoa. He's complaining about a quick count there. Now reversal by the Bullet again.
Whoa.
Sleeper.
There you go.
You won't get up from that one.
No, sir, buddy. He's going to sit.
Wait a minute. Mr. Tennessee has hit the ring. He's going in on the Bullet. Mr. Tennessee is in. Both Mitchell and Mr. Tennessee have the Bullet tied up. And whoa! Bullet ducks him and chop to Mr. Tennessee. Chop again down on the canvas he goes, and outside of the ring.
Running for cover.
Running for cover is right, and it seems like Mr. Tennessee might want a little bit more of the bullet, but I really don't know that he does in this situation. I tell you what.
It's already happening today, Charlie. The first match, and it's already happening right here in USA Wrestling.
It looks like Mr. Tennessee wants some more. I don't think he really does at this particular point because, hey, I don't see any barbed wire fences keeping him out of the ring. I'd like to remind everyone that we said a little bit earlier on in today's program to get a pencil, piece of paper, a pen, whatever handy, because we would like to tell you how you can have USA Wrestling in your community as a fundraiser, whether it be for a civic organization, whether it be for a school, any club, and it's an excellent way to raise funds.
That's exactly right, Charlie. You know, the wrestlers come out, they talk to the schools, they get involved in your community, and instead of messing with bake sales and stuff you got to mess with for 2 or 3 months at a time, you have a one-night affair. They get the concessions. You know, it's a heck of a deal for a nonprofit or a civic group.
Write that number down on your screen. Area code 904-434-7973 is the USA Hotline, so you'll find out how to have wrestling in your community as a fundraiser. Also, briefly, I'd like to remind you that we tape USA Wrestling in Dothan, Alabama at the Television 18 studios every Saturday afternoon at 1:30. And if you would like to be a part of our studio audience, no matter where you are in the state of Alabama, on the Gulf Coast, over in Georgia, Mississippi, come out and join us. And we're about ready for some more action in the ring today on USA Wrestling. And we're going to be seeing the Junkyard Dog and a host of others in action.
Ladies and gentlemen, this second match, one fall, also 10-minute time limit. First of all, weighing in at 286 pounds from Tallahassee, Florida, would you welcome Sid Owens? And ladies and gentlemen, the music will also tell the story on this combatant.
Are you ready?
Weighing in at 310 pounds from North Carolina, here is the Junkyard Dog!
Oh, JYD himself, and it looks like Sid Owens wants to get, hey, let's get the early bird gets the worm, but I don't know if that'll come out on this one.
I don't know what he's getting now. I don't think I'd call it a worm. I think it's more like a soup bone getting upside his head, and he's doing the right thing now and running like a yellow dog.
Sid Owens taking on the Junkyard Dog on this edition of USA Wrestling. And still to come, Super Kick Scott Armstrong, who is with us, will be in action a little bit later on today's program, as will Mr. Tennessee, which we've seen an early arrival of Mr. Tennessee in the studio.
Well, I tell you what, you know, Mr. Tennessee come running in on that last match. I think he got more than he really wanted. Look at JYD dropping that head on him. I tell you what, people have been talking about headbutts. I don't know who's got the baddest, JYD or that Russian warhead, Boris Zukov. Look at him knocking that noggin, Charlie. Boom!
Zukov might have a little size on him, but as far as the effect of the headbutt, I might put my vote in the corner of JYD.
Yeah, you may be right. I tell you what, looks like nothing bothering him. That Sid throwing the best shots he can throw, and they ain't affecting Dog at all.
Junkyard Dog takes his man up. Into the ring ropes he goes. Oh!
Can you imagine the force of 310 pounds throwing a dead gum clothesline like that? Look here.
Lights out, he said.
With a big bump.
There it is.
You don't see anybody get up from that.
You get the 3 count, and you get the hand of the Junkyard Dog raised in that one. Your winner of the match, JYD. And if we could, let's go back and take a look at that super thump that'll put a man out for the 1, 2, 3 in slow motion. If we can take a look at it right now. There you see Junkyard Dog setting his man up.
He picks him up. He finds his spot on that canvas, and he plants that boy like a seedling, I mean.
All like a 5-pound sack of sugar.
310 pounds on your booty. And there it is, 1, 2, 3, Sid Owens looking for a different job today.
And we've got a winner. It's the Junkyard Dog, and a lot of action still to come. You stay with us on USA Wrestling.
USA Wrestling continues after this brief pause.
You've got a bad cough, but you've...
Hello, wrestling fans. I'm Mike Jackson here on behalf of USA Wrestling, telling you about some great wrestling events coming into your area. You're going to see stars in the USA. You're going to see the Junkyard Dog. You're going to see the Bullet. You're going to see Austin Idol, the Universal Heartthrob, Boris Zukov, the Iron Sheik, and the list is endless. I think my good friend Bob Armstrong said it the best when he said it looks like a who's who of professional wrestling. And I'd like to bring in a star right now that needs no introduction, the Junkyard Dog. Dog, what about it?
You know, I'm going to go all over this great state of Alabama. Back in North Kakalaka, you know, they said North Kakalaka, South Kakalaka, and then they said Alabama. So I'm traveling all over Alabama, down in Monkeytown, Birmingham, Dothan, Alabama, all over, like my man said, sweet home Alabama, and I'm about to come home to see about you, and I'm coming to see about the Russian head missile.
I believe that's Warhead.
Warhead, or whatever you want to call them. Ayatollah Khomeini, sweet cheeks, simply divine. And I got plenty of people that's going to be leading the way. Austin Idol, Super Kick, the Bullet, the JYD, the TCs. You can go on and on down the line. And like I said, if the price is right, baby, bring it on down, and we going to get down to that. And by the way, here come my man, the Bullet.
Bullet, I understand you're having a problem with this Jim Cornette and a man called Mr. Tennessee.
That's right. Jim Cornette has never liked me, and personally, I hate him. So his mother has paid a man called Mr. Tennessee a likely sum. I don't know how much, but I don't think it's enough to come down and take the Bullet's mask off. Well, I don't care if it's in Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery, or where it is, Mr. Tennessee. You come in. A lot of men have tried. A lot of men have fell by the wayside, brother. You can put a bounty on me all you want. It just makes me fight harder, and I will fight harder, brother. I didn't get these 20-inch guns just sucking on milkshakes and sitting around being a couch potato, but I got a tater for you, brother, and I'll give it to you whenever I see you, Mr. Tennessee.
See you. Ladies and gentlemen, this television match, one fall, also 10-minute time limit. In the corner to my ring, weighing 226 pounds from Austin, Texas, would you welcome Ron Preston? Preston. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent making his way to ringside weighs in at 238 pounds. He is from the great state of Tennessee. Would you welcome Mr. Tennessee? Tennessee.
All right, Mr. Tennessee taking on Ron Preston on today's edition of USA Wrestling. Still to come, action from Boris Zukov, Super Kick, Scott Armstrong, Simply Divine, and a host of others, plus a special personality profile with a man returned last week after some 2 years out of the professional wrestling because of an automobile accident, the Universal Heartthrob, Austin Idol. We've got a bell. We're ready for action.
All right. And we don't know a whole lot about this Mr. Tennessee, except that Jim Cornette has sent him from the Smoky Mountains down here to USA Wrestling to take care of the Bullet. Now, from what we've seen so far, he hadn't taken care of too much at all except flapping that mat right there with his back, has he, Charlie?
That's about all I've seen so far, but I'm going to tell you something. Never underestimate the power of Jim Cornette and Mama with a pocketbook.
Yeah, I heard that. You're exactly right. You got to keep that in the back of your mind. Right now, it looks like Mr. Tennessee is taking it to him, brother.
Yes, he is. Boot coming off the ropes, stuns. Young Ron Preston takes his man into the turnbuckle. Good clothesline coming off.
Almost ripped his head off, Charlie. Look at him. Ron, come back up, though. He's coming back, firing back on him. Mr. Tennessee going to the eyes, all right. Taking those shortcuts.
Oh, there he over the top rope, just plainly choking his man. Hard smash to the back of the neck, and that has an effect all the way down the spine.
Brother, take a good look at his mouth. His lips busted all over his face. Oh, my gosh. He must have caught him with that boot. He caught him with something because his lip is splattered every which way.
High back body drop. Good gracious, almost over the rope.
Brother, he went almost hit the lights here in the studio.
2 count, and Ron Preston powers out on the count of 2, but look at the webs on his back from those shots he's been taking by Mr. Tennessee.
I tell you what, I'm wondering if he lost a tooth. Look at that mouth. His lips split wide open, brother.
2 count, and again, boy, we have a brave one here in Ron Preston. I thought he was beat.
Well, me too, Charlie, but I tell you, Mr. Tennessee could be just toying with his man. He could be just waiting on the spot, take right over and take it to the house.
Because he has seemed to have full control of this match from the onset. Good reversal by Preston. Oh, shoulder in to the steel ring post. Takes his man up. Pile driver. Go!
Oh, my gosh. I don't know what they call that, Charlie, but I don't think there's any chance of him. No,
it is over. 1, 2, 3, and your winner of the match with his hand raised high is Mr. Tennessee. And if we could go back for a moment now and take a look at that devastating move that put young Ron Preston out on this edition of USA Wrestling. In slow motion, if we could please take a look at what happened just moments ago in this match was Mr. Tennessee defeated Ron Preston here on USA Wrestling. And joining us at the desk now, Mr. Tennessee, if we have that slow-mo available, what kind of series of moves do we have there?
That's right, baby. That's a series of Tennessee moves, baby. That's right. Tennessee, shut your mouth. Shut up. Alabama is always losers. They will always be a loser. Come and join the Big Orange. And Bullet, you're an Alabama fan. Shut up.
I'll tell you what, let's do this right now. You have a purpose here in USA Wrestling that you want to convince everyone of. So at the request of Mr. Tennessee, we'll show you why he's in the USA Wrestling area and what he has up his sleeve. And we'll hear the comments of Jim Cornette.
Wrestling fans, I'm Bob Caudle, along with Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies, and we got some exciting news for all you wrestling fans. USA Wrestling is expanding all the way from California, across the Gulf Coast, into Alabama, all through that area. And, of course, you're going to be seeing outstanding stars. Jim Cornette, I know you got special interest in one person in USA Wrestling.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, you got a guy down here who calls himself the Bullet, wears a sock over his face, trying to hide his identity. Everybody knows it's Bob Armstrong. And everybody knows that the people there in Alabama, all over the Gulf Coast, they love Bob Armstrong. But, of course, you know, the people down there, you know what the favorite dinner is of somebody, from Alabama, Stan?
What's that, Jim?
That's whatever was too slow crossing the highway yesterday. Let me tell you something, Bob Armstrong. As you can see, we're in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And we have had situation here over the past year where Bob Armstrong is the commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He doesn't wrestle here. He's the commissioner. But now in USA Wrestling, the Bullet is wrestling. Sounds to me like there's something fishy going on. And Bob Armstrong, you and I, we don't actually see eye to eye very often. So I'll tell you what, I've got a guy named Mr. Tennessee. He's got a mask just like you do, Bullet. And I'm going to send him down there to USA Wrestling just to take care of a little unfinished business between me and our dear commissioner. And
now there we have the comments of Jim Cornette.
That's right. Whoa, what's he doing out here?
Listen, that's 2 weeks in a row I've had to sit and listen to you tell everybody what you're going to do to the Bullet. I don't think Jimmy Cornette's mother's got enough money for you to take that mask off. And instead of watching my monitor and listening to what you're going to do, why don't we go to the ring right now and see what you can do? That's all right.
A lot on the line with this Cornette deal, obviously, Bullet.
Well, I don't know if they got that much money. A lot of people trying to take this mask off.
I've never seen it done before.
Well, I'm going to give him a shot.
I've never seen it done before, and he's on his way to the ring, the Bullet. And I've followed this man's career for quite some time. Mr. Tennessee goes after the Bullet with those smashes as he comes into the ring, chops to the throat area. Now, I don't even know if that referee needs to be in there for this, because if the Bullet says do it, hey, this thing could be the best street ball. High back body drop. High back body drop, and there's a, whoa! There's that chop, vicious chop from the Bullet. Mr. Tennessee out on the floor. And here comes Mike Mitchell. He's holding Mr. Tennessee back. Mr. Tennessee trying to get the ring right now. The Bullet says, bring it on. Take this mask off, would you? You don't think it can be done? Really don't think it can be done, not on this date. But anyway, we need to go to a commercial break. Anything takes place in between now and then, we'll bring it to you. Stay with us on USA Wrestling.
USA Wrestling continues. Don't you dare go away.
Hi.
We is a family, and we is gonna stay a family.
Call now to order Volume 1 of Roots for the low price of $9.99. Collect the entire series and pass it down to your future generations.
Because Americans won't know where they're going until they know where they've been.
Call 1-800-545-0097 to order your first tape, Roots Episode 1. We send $9.99 plus $3.23 shipping and handling to Roots, Box 1880, Department R, Alexandria, Virginia, 31st.
Don't miss this sale, or you'll say, whoop.
Hi, this is Rick Cole, owner of Birmingham Auto and Drug Painting, where we still will paint any car. It's the uglies. Bring it on down to us, and we'll not only and give you 20% off. You can't beat it. I love it. Call me now. Ooh.
Hello, wrestling fans. I'm Mike Jackson here to tell you about some of the most exciting stars coming to your town. It could be Birmingham, Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, all throughout the South, Dothan. All the stars are coming your way. That's USA Championship Wrestling, the hottest ticket in town. Two of the top stars that you're going to be seeing on this tour. You'll see the Iron Sheik, and you'll see Boris Zukov. Boris, USA Wrestling.
It's some of the greatest competition in the world is here in USA Wrestling. Birmingham, Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, all over Alabama we're going to be. You know, there's got to be some of the ugliest people in the world in Alabama. Maybe you need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Your teeth are rotten. You need to go see the dentist. And it doesn't matter to Zukov who steps into the ring with him, any American opponent, because one headbutt from the Russian warhead and you will go down. You will be humiliated. You will be beaten. You will be embarrassed. Austin Idol, JYD, Bullet Armstrong, Scott Armstrong, it doesn't matter to Zukov. Any opponent, I am ready.
Iron Sheik.
You know, I heard Mr. Austin Idol coming over here talking about University Alabama, University football team, wrestling team. I just want to know how many of the University Alabama football player, wrestler, they have a guts to try the Iron Sheik Club. Now, Mr. Austin Idol, you know about Iron Sheik. He was the best shooter in Olympic game, you Pan American. I know how to single leg, double leg, take down the people, just like Saddam Hussein, Uncle Hussein in the Persian Gulf. He know how to shoot American plane, take him down. Now, Mr. Austin Alden, I'm in Bully, Steve Strong, JYD. I can't wait to get to the Birmingham, Montgomery, and wherever, all over the Alabama to show you who is the best wrestler. Look at me, Ya Allah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match, one fall, 10-minute time limit. To the corner of my right, weighing in at 223 pounds from Norfolk, West Virginia, would you welcome the Master Blaster. And ladies and gentlemen, needing no introduction, making his way to ringside, 214 pounds, here is Scott Super Kick Armstrong. Armstrong.
Here we have a rematch.
Von Redlick.
At the request of the Master Blaster, who said a little too quick on the count last week. Going back in my memory, I thought Scott Armstrong scored a decisive win over the Master Blaster. Collar and elbow tie-up over on the ropes right now. Still a lot of great action to come from Boris Zukov. But dynamic, and we'll say that because of their ability. Their personality might leave a lot to be desired, and their attitude, simply divine, will be in action on today's program. Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol joins us now. Good takedown by the Master Blaster, and hey, great to have you out.
Well, thank you very much, Charlie. You know, I'm watching what's happened in such a short period of time here at USA Wrestling, that the level of intensity is it's really mounting up, and I had an opportunity to talk to Scott Armstrong, matter of fact, just a few minutes ago for his match, and I mean, he had one of those Alabama defensive linemen haze over his eyes. I mean, he looked very, very intense. And look at the moves Scott's putting.
High hip toss into an arm drag takedown and bars up that left arm with the Master Blaster.
Wrestling at its finest, no doubt about it. Scotty was one of a great amateur, comes from a great wrestling family. You look at Brad Armstrong, Steve Armstrong, the whole family. I mean, you look up the word wrestling in the dictionary, you got a picture of an Armstrong next to it. So he's got a mission, he's got a goal, and what it is sitting right here in front of us on this desk, and that's the USA Junior Heavyweight title. And I would think right now Scotty Armstrong has to be in the top contention for it.
You look up in the same dictionary the word devious, and I think next to that they'll have a photo of Jim Cornette. Would you agree?
Well, there's no doubt about that. Cornette, he'll do anything and everything to get his point across. Beautiful move by Scott Armstrong. You see how he's staying with the body part, Charlie. He's staying with the arm. He's working on the arm, and he's got a game plan. And my thought has always been, you know, failing to plan is planning to fail. So he's definitely done his homework.
In any contact sport, that is the name of your objective, is to take that, in his case, left arm is what he's working on.
He is working on it, you know, and, you know, Scott,
look at this. Good move. High drop kick by Scott Armstrong into an arm drag, once again barring up that left arm back to the point that he needs to be.
And they love it. I mean, the wrestling fans here in Alabama are just incredible. They love it. They love a winner, and by golly, they've had enough winners in their history to be able to recognize one.
And New Year's night was no exception.
I was there.
Was there any noise in that place?
There was a little bit of noise in the Sugar Bowl, and it was sweet.
Look at this full body slam by the Master Blaster. A good arm drag by Scott Armstrong, once again, right back to that left arm. Still to come, the Russian warhead Boris Zukov in action on today's program, as well as we'll see Simply Divine and a profile where Austin and I have a chance to sit down and chat about some things going on in his career and some things taking place in the careers of the maybe Iron Sheik and others.
Well, you never know. The competition here is incredible. I think it's as good, probably better.
Whoa, did you see that? Master Blaster coming from nowhere. He might have turned this one around right here.
This could be an upset, Charlie, right here. I mean, it just takes us like anything, you know, on any given day, anybody can beat anybody. We may be seeing an upset take place right here.
He held his own very well against Scott Armstrong last week, and I was under the impression it was a decisive win by Armstrong. Hey, look at this.
Well, there's no doubt about it. This is Master Blaster, if that's what he calls himself. Evidently, he's done a little bit of homework and watched a little footage and watched a little film, and I think he's come well prepared to take on Scott Armstrong.
Yes, he is. And after last week's meeting with Scott Armstrong, you can pick up in a matter of moments in a match what the man is made of, what his weak points are, and maybe the Master Blaster has done just that. Whoop! Nobody home on that one. So the damage goes to the man on offense, and that is the Master Blaster. Scott Armstrong takes his man into the ring rope. Good elbow coming off. Up again with that drop kick that puts the Master Blaster down on the canvas. Oh, going up high this time.
He's going airborne.
Scott Armstrong with a flying body press. One count, and he comes right up. He didn't miss. There's the super kick. 3 count, and it is over. A lot of excitement at that one. And at one point in the match, hey, the Master Blaster had it turned around for a while, but your winner of the match is super kick, Scott Armstrong. And if we could upstairs, let's go back and see that series of moves that led up to the victory by super kick Scott Armstrong as he goes up high. There you see, flying body press, has his man there possibly beat, but hey, you wanted a rematch with me? Take all I've got to give. This must be what's going through the mind of Scott Armstrong. He gets right up, there's the super kick, and down, covers his man very well. 1, 2, 3, it is over. Your winner of the match is super kick Scott Armstrong. And in weeks to come, the tournament continues. It's down to the final 8 now in the Junior Heavyweight Championship tournament going on in USA Wrestling. We have some comments all the way from San Francisco from a man who is very much in that final 8 in the hunt, the magnificent Magliano. So let's take a look at his comments right now.
I advance week by week. I'm standing here in the San Francisco Cow Palace. Of course, it was sold out. Another win in the light heavyweight tournament. Negro Casas, you came all the way up from Mexico. You came, you tried, you failed. Just like everybody else. But everywhere I go, I'm on the other side of the country. All I hear is Scott Armstrong this, Scott Armstrong that. Who have you ever beat, Scott Armstrong? You must be beating junk men. I don't understand it, but apparently you may be the man to beat in this tournament. Well, frankly, I'm not too impressed. I know of your family tradition. I know of your brothers and your father. None of that means anything to me. I have a family, too. At the rate I'm advancing in this tournament, I'm a shoo-in for the next cover of Sports Illustrated. At least, if not now, once I'm the junior heavyweight champion, it's said and done. Scott Armstrong, I'll be back, and I'm sure somewhere our paths will cross in this light heavyweight tournament. And when it does, Scott Armstrong will be no more. See ya.
The magnificent Magliano, just one example of the great talent in USA Wrestling, and more to come. We'll have more action to come in a matter of moments. Right now, let's take a look at what's happening in the life of the Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol. Had a chance to have a talk with him on our personality profile. One of the best ways you could raise funds for your club or civic organization or school is through USA Wrestling. And if you'd like information on how to have USA Wrestling in your area as a fundraiser, we invite you to call the USA Wrestling Hotline, area code 904-434-7973, for information on having USA Wrestling as a fundraiser in your area. You know, one of the most interesting things in all my years of professional wrestling is the fact that there's so many personalities in pro wrestling. One that comes to mind that stands out among all is the Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol. We're going to be talking with Austin today about many things. First of all, what a great comeback last week after a devastating car injury in an automobile accident some 2 years ago. It's great to have you back, and you're in rare form.
Well, thank you, Charlie. You know, it was very exciting when I was first contacted by the promoters here at USA Wrestling, I've got to tell you, and it really stimulated me because it was something that I could relate to, and it was something different. I mean, when they said that they're going to go back to studio wrestling, that really got my attention. And then, of course, when they mentioned the cities that they were going to wrestle in, primarily over here on the East Coast with Birmingham and Montgomery and Mobile and Dothan, then certainly it was very emotional for me. It really was, because I'd made so many friends and all through the state of Alabama, and to me, Alabama has always represented, sports-wise at least, that they'll settle for nothing less than the best. So there was just a tremendous package there that was offered, and I'm just really pleased to be part of it, and I'm certainly pleased to have gotten through last week and feeling pretty good about it.
Here's a guy that's wrestled in so many foreign countries and all over the United States, and I know for a fact he thinks of this area as home. That's the Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol. You know, we're talking about different personalities. Hey, how about the Iron Sheik? What about the challenge?
You know, the challenge that he put out there, you know, I saw that, and you know, of course, we train a little bit differently in this country in the weight rooms and whatnot, but to swing those clubs at 75 pounds apiece behind his neck, behind his back like that, that's a pretty incredible feat. I don't know that anybody's going to be able to accept that challenge and in fact, to do it.
In case anyone missed last week's premiere episode of USA Wrestling, let's go back 1 week and take a look at what the Iron Sheik did in the ring in the studio with the big clubs and the challenge.
Well, there you go. I mean, I guess this is his way of warming up or getting himself psyched up, Charlie, but you know, you can take a look at any athlete, and you can tell by intensity. He's pounding himself on the chest there. And Mike Jackson told me about those clubs, and I asked him, I said, Mike, did those really weigh 75 pounds? And he said, Austin, you know, I'm a little guy, but believe me, he says, I could barely pick the thing up off the mat. But to swing those like he's swinging, I mean, you think Nolan Ryan would be doing the commercials for Advil? I mean, I'll tell you what, that seems to me that could just tear a rotator cuff, and any athlete would know to do that. That's a very unusual, unique, and an odd lift. And honestly, you know, I don't know that anybody can really do that.
Unique he is, former WWF World Heavyweight Champion, the Iron Sheik. One other thing I want to go over with you, we've had scores of phone calls and letters about the return of professional wrestling to studio and the USA Wrestling and what's going to be happening in the future. A lot of the response was geared to you. First of all, welcoming you back after the accident some 2 years ago, and it's good to have you back. But this FedEx came, and I want to say that I had 2 phone calls related to this, and the 2 people that called were not the same people, but they asked, was there any way I could present this to you on the show today? And it's a FedEx addressed to Austin Idol, and the sender is TF, and company is Collections.
Collections. Well, I don't know.
But anyway, maybe it's a welcome back from somebody, whatever, but they wanted me to present that to you on the show today, if at all possible, and since you were scheduled for the personality profile segment of the show, I thought I would hand it to you, and let's see what...
Sure. Is this a joke?
Well, that's the FedEx that came in.
Well, it says, Austin Idol, you owe me. It's time to pay up. TF.
Do you know who this
It sounds like, is this a prank, Charlie? Is this a joke? You playing a joke with me, Charlie?
No, well, does it look like a joke?
No, it's legitimate in terms of the Federal Express.
Well, whatever, I guess.
Probably just a crackpot out there.
Inside joke with you or whatever. You know, maybe it's none of our business, but I just did what I was asked to do.
Austin Idol, you owe me. It's time to pay up, TF. I would say it's just a prank or some sort.
We'll forget about that, but hey, great to have you in USA Wrestling, and always great talking with you.
My pleasure, Charlie. God bless you.
Universal Heartthrob, Austin Idol.
There's more tough ringside action coming up on USA Wrestling, so stay right there.
Sometimes unexpected events change the way your life.
Birmingham, Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, Montgomery, Dothan, Alabama, USA Wrestling. The hottest ticket going today is coming to your town with some of the most competitive wrestling events you're ever going to see on the face of this earth. I'm standing here right now with two of the top guys in the USA. These top guys, they call themselves Simply Divine. They have to reckon with a force, though. The Rock and Roll Express, who is...
We don't have to reckon with nobody. Let me tell you something, Rock and Roll Express. Anybody can take a tape and send it out and send it anywhere they want in the world and claim to be what they are. But let me tell you something. You're looking at two guys. We're in Birmingham. We're in Mobile. We're all over the place, baby. We're standing here live and live in color, and we're backing up what we say. We're not sending out tapes. Now, let's get on to something serious. Let's get on with all the women here. You know, after we were on the show last week, the station was flooded with calls. They were flooded with letters. Right. And we want to thank all the women. Right. And frankly, we were impressed. We were impressed that anybody around here knew how to write.
Oh, gee.
Let me tell you something. Don't worry, girls, because your literary talents are not what we're interested in. So you still got a chance. IQ means nothing. No. We're looking for other skills. Ain't that right, Rex?
That's right. You know, there's another clown that's running around here, Scott Armstrong. You know, he's sitting around here. He's telling everybody that he's got brothers on every major network. Well, that doesn't tell Simply Divine anything other than maybe that his father couldn't practice birth control. But you got something I got to tell you. Rock and Roll Express. Anytime, any place. But you see, we know you won't show up because, you see, we've had title matches before with you. We've had matches before, and you never showed up. Guarantee you won't show up in this stinking state of Alabama.
Simply Divine. They're arrogant.
Remember one other thing, ladies. Even a bad time with Simply Divine would be just simply wonderful.
That's right. They're arrogant, they're cocky, they're self-conceited.
We ain't going nowhere.
But I'll tell you one thing, they're a force to reckon with in the USA Wrestling. This television match won fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the ring, weighing in at 274 pounds from Portland, Oregon, here is Jerry Maverick. And ladies and gentlemen, making his way to ringside, the Russian Warhead. 313 pounds, Moscow, Russia. Here is Boris Zukov.
The Russian Warhead, Boris Zukov.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boris Zukov has asked me to have everyone stand in reverence to the playing of the Russian national anthem.
Well, the family saved a lot on music lessons. We know that right off the bat. And it's the Russian Warhead, Boris Zukov, taking his men head first into the turnbuckle. Here's a man that, although relationships between this country and where he comes from has definitely changed, he still has that sickle and hammer emblem on there, and also you'll see that headgear used for what he says psych purposes. Going back to his amateur days, headbutt, 1, 2, 3. It is over. Psych purposes is what he said the headgear is for. You kind of have to wonder about that. That is what he says. But it really put Jerry Maverick down, and now he's, there you see him draping the Russian flag over Jerry Maverick. Now, what's this? The Iron Sheik coming out to obviously congratulate Boris Zukov on his victory. Now, what's the Sheik doing? Sheik belly to back suplex and puts Jerry Maverick, I mean, he don't even know what state he's in, much less country right now. There he goes with that camel clutch. And the Iron Sheik clamping down with the pressure. This is a bit much here. The Iron Sheik not scheduled to wrestle on today's program. There you see them standing tall together. Jerry Maverick defeated by the Russian warhead Boris Zukov. Let's take a look at that if we could. Again, what transpired in the match in slow motion. The Iron Sheik, this is after the Russian warhead Boris Zukov had defeated his man. You had a belly-to-back suplex, and there he goes in with that camel clutch, applying the pressure to Jerry Maverick, who certainly underwent some unnecessary punishment at the hands of the Iron Sheik, who is obviously aligning with the Russian warhead Boris Zukov. We've got a lot of great action still to come on USA Wrestling. Right now, let's take a look at one of the premier tag teams in professional wrestling. You have to think of the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, let me tell you something. We're right here in the stinking state of Alabama. Where's the Rock and Roll Express? Huh? Just like I told you, Charlie, they aren't going to show up because they're scared. They know who's the real tag team of the night. Here's somebody right now will show them.
Simply Divine, and they are irate at the showing of, once again, the videotape of the Rock and Roll Express, Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton. Let's go to the ring right now. They're obviously waiting some opponents to get in.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the ring at a combined weight of 448 pounds from every woman's dream, here is Simply Divine.
And their opponents are the Mitchell twins as they hit the ring on today's edition of USA Wrestling. Where there goes one outside. Good clothesline. And Orion over on the sideline there, definitely doing his share of the damage to the Mitchell twins. Here we go. High suplex by Simply Divine. These guys are tough competitors. Look at that. Whoa. Just manhandles one of the Mitchell twins. Tag is made. Dave getting a double elbow there by Simply Divine. Tim being knocked off the post there. But they do become a little unglued when anything about the Rock and Roll Express is mentioned whatsoever. Orion there, what they call their equalizer, or the man to watch their back, is standing at ringside. Takes his man into the ring ropes, counters off. He ducks his man good. Going after the drop kick, but seemed to have no effect whatsoever. That one did. Double drop kick action from the Mitchell twins. Whoa. Hammering down. Staying one step ahead of his man. Takes his man up now. Full body slam. Dropping down that knee into the head. And you hear the crowd chanting rock and roll here in our television studio. Out of the ring he goes again. Orion, there you see, doing his share of damage. And throws the man back in the ring. Hey. This amounts to what seems to be a handicap tag match with the Mitchell twins against Simply Divine and Orion. Good. Double clothesline. That just wrecks Steve both irate in the ring, want to know where is the Rock and Roll Express. Well, I got news for you. We'll find out when they hit the ring. No, he didn't want the pinfall there. Tags in his partner. And here we see unnecessary punishment to one of the Mitchell twins. Rights to the midsection. Backed over into that turnbuckle. Now takes his man in. Whoa! There's the boot. Catches his man with a boot as he comes into the turnbuckle. Hard right by one of the Mitchell twins to the midsection of Simply Divine. But look at what the punch does to the Mitchell twin. And again, on the canvas he goes, but they are certainly preoccupied with the thoughts of the Rock and Roll Express hammering down into the back of Tim Mitchell. Rex and Steve both tagging in and out very effectively. Good bulldog. And that'll be it. That has got to be it. No. Count of two. And he pulls his man up. No power out there. The match should be over with. Wait a minute. Oh, double. There's that double DDT. And it's over. Your winners of the match, Rex and Steve, Simply Divine. And there you see Orion in the ring with them. Your winners, Simply Divine, and we've got more action to come on USA Wrestling. So stay with us.
USA Wrestling continues after this brief pause.
Question, when is USA Wrestling coming to my area? Well, let me tell you, Birmingham, Alabama at Boutwell, Montgomery, Mobile, Dothan, all coming your way with some of the greatest wrestling stars in the nation today. World-class athletes, if you will. The Iron Sheik, Boris Zukov, The Bullet, plus many, many more. And I'd like to bring in one now that takes no backseat to anyone.
I can really feel it, Mike, just like you said it all, man. You said about a volcano. Woo. I mean, you look at the talent, you know, it makes me wonder how heavy, how strong, how much did they spend to bring in this kind of talent? You look at all the talent in USA Wrestling, and it makes you wonder what is really happening here in Alabama. It makes you wonder that Alabama, what have they done to bring in this kind of activity? Because you know something? I always think about Alabama and what they like and what they don't like, and one thing that they do like is intensity. My good friend Joe Weeder out in California says, Austin, it is intensity for immensity. And you know what? The Iron Sheik said something that really got my blood boiling a little bit, Mike. You know, he said that the missiles that they fired at our pilots in the Persian Gulf and shot down our American planes is the same type of ammunition he's going to use on American wrestlers. Well, I can tell you one thing, Sheik. If you're talking about me, you better come with your guns fully loaded. And as far as the warhead goes, the Russian warhead, talked about all the women out there in Alabama that were so ugly. This is not only Alabama the beautiful, but it's the most beautiful girls in the world. Exactly. And can you imagine playing spin the bottle with a face like that when he was a kid? Unbelievable. Simply Divine out here. They talk a good game. Can they back it up? I got a feeling they can. No question about it. They can eat a banana sideways. You talk about big mouths. But the bottom line is this. USA is starting something right here now. USA is coming to Birmingham. USA Wrestling is coming to Mobile. USA Wrestling is coming to Montgomery. And I can promise you one thing. I'm going to be part of it.
Well, we've seen a lot of great action today on USA Wrestling. But in case you missed our premiere episode last week, let's take a look at some of the things happening last week on USA Wrestling. lot of action this week. Next week, a lot of action will be taking place here on USA Wrestling. Obviously, you have something on your mind.
That's right. I am tired of the Bullet shenanigans. Next week, listen, Alabama rednecks. Next week, right here on TV, the mask is coming off. I'm proving once and for all that the Bullet is Bob Armstrong. Be ready. Be here bright and early, because after next week, it's going to be over with. Tennessee is going to be number one. Be here.
There you hear the comments of Mr. Tennessee, and somewhat of a promise. He'll take the mask of the Bullet off. Well, I wouldn't bet the farm on that one, because that mask has been on a long time, but I've never seen it come off. Anyway, our thanks to our studio audience today. Thank you for viewing. Next week, for the first time in USA history, we'll see in action in a match the Iron Sheik on USA Wrestling. Also, don't forget that if you'd like to be a part of our studio audience, we tape in Dothan, Alabama at Channel 18 Studios on Highway 52 East every Saturday afternoon at 1:30. So all along the network, thanks for joining us for USA Wrestling. We'll see you next week right here.
You've been watching USA Wrestling. Be sure to join us again next week for more ringside action on USA.